Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today I want to talk about something called the
Balkan Advanced Music Conference. First edition, 3 days. 30 plus speakers. Music industry melting pot. Brutal architecture.
Future marketplace.
Legacy creators, music before.
Future list.
12 plus events. 3 plus art exhibitions.
It is the first Bosnian music conference. And the reason why I want to talk about it is not to promote it, but because I think it is a very important step forward for our country. Namely, for the past couple years, the lineups at clubs are getting better and better by every party. But the next logical step, in my opinion, was this conference because it connects our country with the whole of Europe and shows everybody that, hey, we are relevant as well. We have a lot of talent, and I'm sure we can show you something very good that everybody else will enjoy in any festival. I would first mention what led up to this conference, actually. For 2 months, every other Sunday, they had meetups in this local cinema, which were supposed to be like a platform to meet other DJs and producers and spark new ideas and collaborations and show everybody else how many talents we actually have. Boy, oh boy, I was freaking surprised. I knew that this country has a lot of talent, but not in that number. I was really positively surprised, actually. For music, for example, we obviously have by far the most famous person from this area is Solomon, you know. So there's practically nobody else in the music industry who is that famous from Bosnia. And I think that this Balkan Music Conference is the first big step to making a change, increasing the number of talents that are internationally recognized, like Solomon. Everybody else has the potential to reach that level as well. And what surprised me is, okay, first of all, there were no people playing trance music. So I was the only one, and on one hand I felt special, on the other one I was like, I have no platform for my music here. I have to look for other solutions. But I was really surprised that a lot of people had so many positive things to say about it. But the rest actually focused on my technical skills and composition instead of the fact that I was making trance music. A week before the conference started, I applied for something called a hackathon. You're supposed to make up an amazing startup idea for maybe an application or something within those 24 hours. I actually applied alone. I wasn't gonna assemble my team. I just wanted to be surprised to meet new people. So what's funny is that actually this happens to me all the time. I almost always miss the most important part of an event for some reason. And this time it was for university. And because of the hackathon as well, because you can't be at 2 places at the same time, obviously.
I'm in front of the entrance and I got my AAA pass, and let us go inside.
And I was actually surprised. Okay, I mean, it was a Thursday, so people were working and people were in school, but there were not many people inside, just in the conference rooms themselves. I think there were 2 conference rooms.
I'm on my way to the stage they call SMS. There's also the main stage, but right now I'm more interested to see what's going on there. Okay.
And the first thing that actually kind of like really surprised me is that you could smoke inside. I've never seen this but in Bosnia. And this is maybe the second time, even here, that I see it. So only in Bosnia. Come and check out one of the world's wonders, a country where you can smoke inside in public buildings. They had some cute stands from local labels and a lot of vinyl, which is awesome, but I was broke as fuck. And of course, that's why I didn't bring anything home. The conference itself was very interesting, and it was such a shame that there weren't many people. But those that were there were completely immersed and very interested in what the keynote speakers had to say. And I could see that they were here for the same reason I was, which is to learn something new, to network, and to just, keep up with the pace of the world, like see what's happening in the world. The conference itself hosted speakers like Dr. Mate.
Wow, you remember the moment. It was like, and I still have goosebumps. Yeah.
Nice moment.
It was really intense, and I said, wow, that bass line is perfect. It's exactly that's what I want to do.
He's the founder of Love Parade, which was huge in like the beginning of 2000s. You have to check it out on YouTube or read about it on Google if you never heard about it. Because, for example, in 2003, they had over 1.5 million people in the parade, which is amazing. And there were very, very, very few casualties involved. I think it was one of the safest, basically, festivals that you could go to. So that this guy then talked about all of the people who played there and how he's friends with Carl Cox, which I thought was amazing. It was awesome. Just spread love and meet new people. And what was really nice is that actually he was given a beautiful piece of art, which looked like it was made in bronze or something. It was cut in bronze. And it was the poster picture of the BAMC conference. And I think he actually even cried a little bit, which was touching, And I think that that's one of the things these music conferences are all about, the emotions.
The film festival in Sarajevo. And I would say keep going, concentrate on the main thing, what you really, really want to have here, bring people together, build up networks, and develop that, and keep going, and do it with a heart, because it's fun.
Thank you. Goodwill. Bravo, Sarajevo. Thank you. And you should keep going as well. Never stop.
And we also heard a few previews from Mr. Belaine from his new album. He showed us his work that he did with his friend who is an illustrator who actually worked freelance for Marvel. All of these people I'm referring to are locals, and those are people from similar social circles. So we kind of already know each other. We kind of hang out sometimes, we go for coffee, but it's mostly like we bump randomly into each other, and it's cool, it's awesome, and they're genuinely interested in talking about anything. And this illustrator's work is amazing, and it was animated as well. And those videos looked like something and sounded like something that you would hear in movies and video games. It was just so intense. On Friday, actually, I went to the conference as well, and at around 7 p.m. we had a meeting at this local IT company that was going to host a hackathon, and we were supposed to ideate, and some people even slept there. Half of my videos got corrupted somehow when I was transferring them, so I probably don't have enough to show you, but it's definitely one of the most beautiful workspaces I've ever seen. There are huge illustrations on the walls. There are colorful chairs everywhere, beanbags, and it was a very exciting atmosphere. So for the first night, we just decided to ideate, and once you have a good idea, it's always easy to just work on the final product. The idea is what takes the most time, actually. And we were struggling, and we were on the roof, you know, trying to clear our minds. Every other team actually already had said idea, and they started working on them, and we were like, oh shit, dude, they're gonna beat us, you know, we gotta think of something, you know, fast. And then all of a sudden we had our final idea. I think this is, you know, the aha moments that I'm looking forward to so much in these conferences and these competitions and group works. So we decided to meet in the morning, and for now, the two of my teammates would go home, and I was gonna go party with actually one of the judges from the contest. He seemed like a party animal because I know he's one of the crew organizing many festivals in Croatia. So I offered to be the ride, and we went first to a local club called Trezor. It was packed, and people who were playing at the club were some of the people who were having their panels in the conference, which happened usually like, okay, during the day these people would have keynotes, and then during the night they would actually play to crowds, you know. So I was really actually waiting to come to this club so that we could go to this private villa afterwards, which is like, either you could call it a closing party. I mean, the schedule said it was gonna play until 3 a.m., but it played legit until 8 a.m., I think, on both days. You can't put a schedule on party animals, on creative people, on musicians. It's you know, it never happens. Whenever you tell yourself, okay, when you try to set yourself a curfew, it never fucking happens. It just doesn't. But it was still legendary. That night, the first night of my partying, it was the second night for everybody else, but I couldn't go on Thursday. So that night I went to bed at like 4:30. I was planning on coming home at 3 a.m., but I came at like 4:30 or 5. And I got up in the morning at like 9:30 or 10, #proud. I came straight to the hackathon again. And I was gonna swing by the conference for an hour because we were kind of like ahead of time. We were doing well, I think.
What time is it? It's adventure time!
This thing lasted a bit more than it was supposed to, so now I have less than an hour to get ready for the hackathon. Well, speed nap, here we come. Oh my god, you guys. I'm just coming back from the conference to the hackathon, and it's fucking raining hail.
The actual hackathon was supposed to last until maybe 8. But in reality, all of the deadlines during that conference were like broken severely. Because as I said, you can't put a deadline on, you can't schedule creativity, I guess. And the reason why it happened is because, first of all, kind of the whole presentation part kind of lasted longer because of the questions the jury had, because nobody was expecting the kinds of ideas that were actually presented. It was very cool, and all of them had revolutionary potential. But what actually took most of the time was the judging phase. We waited for more than 1.5 hours, actually. It was really funny because the judges told us everybody had their own favorite, but none of them were the same. So it was a very, it was a comical situation. And they said that they were actually, fighting around who's going to take first or who's going to take the second place, because the line was so thin, the difference was like tiny, and it was really hard, obviously, to decide, because they even, they didn't even allow the boss from the company to enter the judging room. It was very funny, actually, to see. And then finally, the judging decisions came. At that moment, my phone dropped because we won second place. Woo! Which is amazing and completely unexpected, honestly. In all honesty, you know, I was really happy, and it was actually like, little did I know that this competition was gonna be a place where I had the best teamwork of my life. I knew these people only since the time the actual competition started, when we were matched, and yet we managed to do something amazing, you know. We were actually the only team that was randomly matched. Everybody else knew each other and were all like working together for a long time, and they were at like 5, 10, 15 hackathons and startup competitions and whatnots. And this was actually my first of a kind, you know. I have competed for startup funding before, but this was the first 24-hour competition I did, and I actually got second place. So we celebrated a lot, and I told all the judges, you have to come with me. You gotta party it out like fucking animals. And this girl, who was one of the judges, said she was really, really, really impressed. Like, she never expected, first of all, the whole thing as it was, and second of all, she didn't know who I was at all. Like, we've seen each other before. This is a semi-small city, you know. You're gonna see people around and you're gonna remember faces. And we saw each other in the gym before, and we had a wonderful conversation, like just truly wonderful, and partied it out, you know. Back at the villa.
Space.
We kind of went through a lot of adventures, you know, from getting lost on our way to the private villa, getting pulled over by cops. I just want to say it's a big adventure. I really know that the next year will be much bigger. Of course, you know, it's always like that for the first edition. It's always a test run. You're not sure what to expect. And there's going to be some disappointment, of course, you know, but it is on the list of some of my best and beautiful experiences that I've had. I hope you liked what I talked about in this vlog today, that you're going to check the links down below. And maybe, just maybe, you would check out my Patreon and choose one of the tiers to subscribe. I put them really low, like $1, $2, and $5, because I know and I don't expect people to think much of my content at first, because I don't have a lot of content. But it would really help, because right now I do not have enough subscribers or watch hours to be able to monetize my videos. So I'm basically doing this for free, and I'm spending a lot of time, like days on recording, days on editing and finding music. And it's not the only thing I have to do in my life. I have university and a job as well. So I'm obviously doing it to try and reach a bigger audience. And by you subscribing to my Patreon, it really shows me that it's worthwhile, that there is something to pursue here. So check out the links down below. You have my Instagram, I will put all the gear that I'm using. And of course, subscribe. Maybe follow me on Instagram. And check out that damn Patreon link. Okay, that's pretty much all I have to say for today. And thank you so much, and I love you.